There is absolutely nothing sensible about my Charger Hellcat. Nothing sensible at all. There's nothing sensible about my car at all. And that's why this car has to go into the garage, because ultimately this is a car that not everybody needs. I haven't even cleaned out all the shit that I put in my car yet. Okay, well, you hear that? That's hell back there. Well, we don't get red keys, but I guess a black key will have to suffice. It's just not as loud. I gotta put that roof up. Alright, so I'm gonna make just a really simple video about my new Jeep. And once again, the reason why I stayed with Jeep is because I needed an all-wheel drive vehicle, and because I really like SRT products. And unfortunately, there's no other way to get all-wheel drive and still get HEMI 6.4 or even a 6.2 liter supercharged Hellcat engine. So the thing about it is, the Jeep solves numerous problems with the SRT. The simple fact of the matter is, some people don't need rear-wheel drive. Some people really need all-wheel drive, and some people even need front-wheel drive. Like if you're in a climate like in the Northeast, such as Canada, where most of the Jeeps are actually sold, instead of getting front-wheel drive or instead of getting rear-wheel drive, you're going to want all-wheel drive. That's to make it so you can easily climb into and out of snow banks with no problems. So basically, the Jeep SRT solves the problems with the 6.4 liter HEMI, and it's an extremely powerful engine. And as long as you do regular maintenance, don't let these people online fool you. The SRT product is extremely good. Now, yes, you're going to spend more money in tires, and you're going to spend more money using maintenance, because obviously the synthetic oil changes are more expensive, and the tires are more expensive if you want a performance product. But that's going to go with anything. The only problem that I've ever noticed with with not even mine, but with most other people's Jeeps and my brand or my years of Jeeps, is the fact that the 8-speed transmission, a lot of people have complained about that 8-speed transmission. So as you see, our everything up until now, the WK2, that's the model number, has a launch control button. You can turn this from auto to sport, and when you turn it to sport, it goes auto, and then it says sport. So it's like, yeah, when you're ready to race something, that's what you turn it to. A lot of people have had trouble with the automatic transmission, and the sad thing about it is Chrysler has gotten most of the brunt of the complaints, wherein I've been complaining since 2009 with the Audi A8. I've been complaining about this shifter since I first tested it on Audi. This shifter is not made by Chrysler. This shifter is made by a company called ZF, and they make 8-speed transmissions for a number of companies, mostly German. And overall, the ZF transmission is a good choice because it has this right here, this eco button. When you put this on, the eco button takes you out of drive mode 1 and puts you in drive mode 2. Putting you in higher gears is going to save you more fuel in the long run, especially if you're going on long-range journeys. Now, the problem with this shifter has been that the detents are too soft when you go from, say, reverse to neutral. It's easy to put the Jeep in park. That's easy enough to do, simply because all you got to do is push down the side button and slam your hand forward. There's only so far forward you can go, so putting this thing into park and putting it into drive is really simple. So if I want to put it into park, all I do is push forward and that's it, and it's in park. If you want to put it in drive, you pull all the way back, that's it. The problem comes when you want to go to neutral or reverse. Now, most of these trucks have like a beeping ultrasound sensor. Like for instance, this car has front and rear sensors. This car will let you know if you get too close to the next guy when you're parking, so you can protect your front bumper. And most of these SRTs pretty much come with the rear sensors, if not all of them, so that if you back up and you're near somebody, you'll also know that. So the problem comes if you put the car in reverse. Sometimes if you're not thinking about, because it really should be a second nature thing. When you're in driver's ed and you learn to drive an automatic, usually with an automatic, as soon as you put the Jeep, or I'm sorry, any car into reverse, what you'll notice is that there's a little jerk back as the motion of being in reverse, and those gears go lock into place, and you feel a noticeable jerk that becomes second nature in just about any car that you're in. But the problem is, if you go into reverse right here, that's neutral right there, but you have to push just hard enough to hit reverse, but not too hard that you go into park. So the problem is, you want to, and if you're pulling back, it's even worse, because if you pull back, it's a little soft right here, and now it's in reverse, it's a little bit soft. So that can be a problem for some people. But overall, I mean, it's not a deal killer. And the thing about it is the 2016 models have replaced this shifter with what they call the torque flight shifter. And the torque flight shifter is the one that you saw in my Dodge Challenger 2016 Hellcat. So the only reason why I'm making this video is because I noticed I posted a lot of Hellcat videos, and while I did get like 2,000 views on some of them, I noticed that the views that I was getting for this Jeep was actually quicker and faster than the views that I was getting for the Hellcat. So I figured, okay, let me just do a little demonstration video of this Jeep. And I think I did one a while back about the leather options, but you know, just to be thorough and, you know, just to make more money, I figure, hey, why not just make another one? So other than that, one of the things I love about this car is that the interior materials are higher quality. Like, for instance, the appliques right here aren't just stickers. These appliques are actually well thought out, well designed. My Chrysler 300, extreme temperature variation started causing some of the appliques to fail. I was a little upset about that, because the problem is, when they were taking the car back and they were repairing the appliques, what would happen is they'd have to take the car back and, you know, they'd actually have to repair it as if like something went wrong with the door. It's just a sticker. And I was like, why is it that you can't just order extra stickers just in case these things fail? But that's not how they do it. And I felt that it was really stupid to have to put the entire car into the shop just to replace a goddamn sticker. I just thought that was stupid. These things right here are much harder, they're thicker, much more well-defined. These things will not fail easily. Even the other materials around the doors, the panels, all of this stuff is better thought out, and I really like that. The only thing that kind of bothers me is the speed, and I complained about this before, the speed of some of the functions within Uconnect is not as fast as it is on that Hellcat, and it's not as fast as it was on my 300. And I made a little complaint video about that before. Other than that, some people say, oh, well, how does it handle? I've driven these cars on track experience, and I've driven all of the SRT products in extreme conditions, but specifically on the track experience, they allow you to test the Jeep, the Charger, and the 300. One of the things that it took a while for me to actually notice was the fact that the Jeep actually has a little bit of a floaty ride. It does have, when you're riding on the highway and you're doing higher speeds, the car feels stable, or I should say the truck feels stable. But in regular conditions, the ride gets a little bit floaty. Like when I say floaty, it kind of feels a little bit cushy, a little soft, a little floaty, like the body yaw is just a little bit, you know, based on the bumps that you're on, and it kind of gets, it's not really bouncy, but it gets a little floaty. I think floaty is the best possible word I can use. So it's overall a very comfortable ride. It's very quiet right up until you step on that HEMI and you really get some power out of that HEMI. Then it gets a little bit louder, especially in the back. You can hear that all-wheel drive transfer case. But other than that, yeah, it's obviously nowhere near as loud as my Hellcat. Nowhere near as loud. That Hellcat justifies its existence by being loud and whistle as a woo. It's like when it does shit like that, it's like, oh my God, this is incredible. And you pay good money to have a car that sounds like that on the road. It's a driving experience that nothing else can even think about offering. Not even a Lamborghini offers that kind of driving. It has a totally different sound if you drive an Aventador or a Murcielago. Totally different sound. So overall, stereo sounds excellent. So, you know, very, and I don't want to get any music in my you know, because the problem is YouTube will censor me. So I don't want to get any music in there that could be detected. Sound quality is excellent. The Hellcat actually had the best sound that I've heard, but all of these cars have the Harman Kardon speaker system, which is like 19 pieces, except this Jeep has a large speaker in the rear in the storage bay. and I love that, you know, it has that speaker and everything. Some people, you know, they put like even more powerful, larger speakers into their Jeeps and their trucks. But I'm very, very satisfied with the speaker system. It's fantastic. I'm really surprised that they didn't put dual speakers in the back of the trucks or in the back of the cars, like if they didn't put one on one side of the truck and the other. But you know, they never did that. In 2006 they had a kicker system, and the kicker system didn't even have that. So, you know, overall using this is actually pretty easy. If you have Uconnect and you have the actual subscription to Uconnect, it comes free for the first year, kind of like OnStar with the Cadillacs. But if you have the subscription, let's say your tires get low and let's say they start deflating, you actually get an email that tells you, oh, you know what, yeah, you better look at your tires because there's something wrong with your tire pressure. And I'm sure other the subscriber services for Hyundai Blue Link, I'm sure some others do that too, but I really like that. If the alarm goes off, and this car did come equipped with an alarm just in case somebody tried to break up into it, if the alarm goes off, you get an email or text notification that says, hey, you better check your Jeep because somebody tried to break into your Jeep, which is really important because, you know, there's a lot of unscrupulous individuals out there who haven't met the electrified end of an officer's taser yet. So, you know, it's really important to know if somebody's screwing with your car. But overall, this is a really good, comfortable car. The interior space is fantastic. You got that moon roof back there. The interior space, most people who have a Jeep, a lot of people have Jeeps, so they already know what to expect. But this car actually outsells most of the other SRT products simply because it gives you all-wheel drive. It gives you the HEMI engine, which is going to be completely probably discontinued in about 20 years, because even right now Chrysler's going towards plug-in hybrids with the Pentastar. So these cars, a lot of people are going to keep these cars. And when you really think about it, a lot of the 2006 Jeeps, right now we're in 2016, so that's 10 years later, most people buy those 2006 Jeeps and they turn them into racing monsters. So these cars hold their value, and they hold their value in a way which, you know, your typical Lexus or Toyota or Honda Accord or any of these other imported shit boxes aren't going to hold their value at all. And, you know, simply because they really don't offer anything. And what's funny is a lot of the features that people used to like out of those cars, you don't even get those features anymore. Like, for instance, these new transmissions are CVTs. These transmissions are horrible. These transmissions not only provide a crappy driving experience, but on top of the crappy driving experience, they wear out. Like, I've never seen so many recalls and so many problems with Hondas and Toyotas until they started using these damn CVTs. And they do it all because they're trying to meet these fuel emission requirements and these EPA standards. They're trying to meet all that stuff. They're trying to get like 40 and 50 miles per gallon. Unfortunately, all they're doing is they're turning the vehicles into appliances, and they're giving you horrible driving experiences. And the sad thing, you know, I feel really bad for people who've only driven, you know, these import shit boxes all their lives, because they never actually, until they finally get into a BMW or they finally get into a Charger or something, they never actually understand what does it feel like to have a good driving experience. Now, when it comes to SUVs, you know, your driving experiences are what? Mercedes-Benz? Mercedes-Benz lower cars, like I did a review like 2 weeks ago on the what was it called? The GLC. And I think I did something on a GLE AMG. You know, those cars, all of them, unless you're paying for a good, powerful engine, all of those cars basically sound and drive the same. That turbocharged V6 sound sounds horrible to me. I hate turbocharged V6s. There's only one turbocharged V6 that I actually like, and it's the one in the Nissan GTR. That's the only turbocharged V6 I like. I don't like the ones in the Cadillacs. I absolutely don't like the ones in the Fords. I don't like the EcoBoost engine. It sounds like you got hair dryers connected to it just doesn't sound good. There's nothing like a nice V8 engine. Now, the regular 5.7 Hemi is actually more than enough to move one of these Jeeps. So like you can't do this. Like you get one of those V6 engines. You know how I said sensibility sounds good? That's what a V8 engine sounds like when you got yourself a 6.1 Hemi. 6.1 Hemis have a great sound. Oh, look at that. little what was that, a Mercedes? Oh, I think that was a CL. But anyway, you got to get yourself a you know, most people aren't going to get a V8 because they're bothered by the fuel efficiency. I understand it. It's a luxury engine. I totally understand it. But the thing about it is, if you want to have launch control and you want to have, you know, something that you can be proud of and you can drive for a long time, I want you to think about the fact, if you go on eBay right now and you look up how much does it cost to buy a 2006 Jeep, these things are really expensive, and they hold their value because SRT products hold their value. I mean, you really think about it, the engine is bulletproof. It's a V8 engine. That thing's not breaking down. If it ever did wear out, all you got to do is replace, what, coil packs? You got to replace spark plugs. And even if you had problems out of the headers or something, what do people do? They take the whole engine apart and they make it a 440 stroker, or they make it something really powerful so that they could do racing with it. These cars hold their value for longer than your typical German car that costs the same amount. I mean, if you look at, like, say, a GLE or GLC, or you look at an ML or something like that, after that, what is it called? After that leasing period is over, those things have lost more than half their value. Those are Me Too cars for rich people. You know, they're cool and everything, but the problem is, once they change that style, it's like you're stuck out there with something you don't even want to drive no more. So I guess that's, you know, enough of a drive experience, because, you know, I got enough video now to, you know, to put this video on YouTube and make some more money off of it. But yeah, I'm an SRT shill. Some people accuse me of being shill. I ain't got a problem with that, because the simple fact of the matter is, you know, I'm buying these cars when I feel like buying these cars. That's just what it is. People vote with their dollar. That's just what it is. So the thing about it is, if you want yourself a good, powerful truck, don't worry, I ain't gonna hit this turkey. Don't worry, I ain't gonna hit it. So anyway, if you want yourself a good, powerful driving experience, and you want yourself launch control, and you want to be able to do 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, or you want to put a little bit more money in and put a supercharger in, you know, you could do that. But you can't do that with, like, a Toyota RAV4. You can't do that with these loser mobiles, these economic crap boxes. You can't do it with no Lexus, nothing like that. You can't do that. Those things are horrible. You don't want that. So, you can't put a supercharger in a Honda Fit. Look at that Honda Fit. What the hell are you going to do with that thing? You're going to drive to the morgue with it. So anyway, so that's basically it. Really awesome car. If anybody has any questions, you can ask me directly. You already know what it is. This is the Jeep. These are the rags I got right here to clean my Jeep, keep my Jeep nice and tidy and clean and beautiful. I love my Jeep. And that's it. So, you know, rain or snow, the Jeep is ready to do something, you know? Jeep is always ready to do something. These are some damn good trucks. These are some damn good trucks. So, you know, any questions, you can ask me directly, and I'll be happy to give you information. And that's that. And some people might ask me, they might say, hey, what's your average fuel economy? Because the problem is, a lot of people are smart and they don't trust these stickers that talk about fuel economy. Well, if you drive this car in the city, the average fuel economy you're typically going to see when you have a soft foot is going to probably be somewhere in between 9.8 and possibly 11.5. But don't quote me on that 11.5, very simply because you really need more highway driving to get that 11.5. These things are, I mean, you know, you're talking about something that damn near weighs like 5,000 plus with like 1 or 2 people in it. So, you know, these things are going to be tough on gas. And then you figure super premium unleaded is like, what, $2 or $2.25 or more. And so long as, you know, gas stays low, it's not so bad. Because you got to remember, when I bought my last set of SRT products, gas was like $4 a gallon. Did I really care? Nope. Because every time I put my foot on that pedal, I'm smiling. So I really didn't care. But you got to understand that, yeah, real world fuel economy, over 516 miles that I've driven this thing, over the 516 miles, I've gotten an average of 10 miles per gallon over the entire time I had it. And even with my full tank, it says that I have a range of 194 miles. So, yeah, these things are a little bit rough on fuel, but that's just the price you pay to be, you know, in the SRT group. That's the price you pay. That's why everybody loves these cars, because the simple fact of the matter is, everybody can talk about Mustangs and they can talk about Camaros, but when it comes to getting yourself a truck that can seat a family of 4 when it comes to a family of 4, it's like you ain't getting no damn Mustang and you ain't getting no stupid Camaro. You're not doing it. Like, for instance, like, look at this. You see this big old puddle? Look at this. Nobody else wants to park in the puddle, but because I got the Jeep, I can park right in the puddle, and that's just it. I can park right in the puddle if I want, you know, because I got that 4x4, you know? That's awesome. That's just absolutely awesome.